Salam, formatımızda bir qədər dəyişiklik eləmişik. Müasir texnologiyaların bizə qazandırdığı imkanlardan istifadə edərək bugünkü verilişimizi Los Angeles'a qoşularaq təqdim edəcəyik və beləliklə Real TV'nin efirində Amerikalı aktrisa, siyasətçi, xeyriyyətçi Nancy Lee Grahn'ın profilidir. Ms. Grahn, hello. Nice to meet you on our channel and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to talk to you. I'm sorry it took a couple of weeks to orchestrate it, but...
Ms. Grahn, let's talk about your childhood. How was Nancy Grahn's childhood? Please.
Well, that's a long time ago, and I will be I'll do the best summation that I can. I grew up in Skokie, Illinois, into a very loving family. It was a beautiful community. It was predominantly a Jewish community. Just a beautiful place to grow up. I have two sisters, Susie and Wendy. I was lucky enough to go to schools that were top rated in the United States. So I had a very good public education. My father was a teacher. My mom worked her way up from being a secretary back then to the publisher of a company called Standard Rate and Data. So she was very accomplished. And nothing was more important than family. So I was very lucky. Having said that, growing up in a very beautiful Jewish community, education was obviously something that was hoped for your children. And I was an A student. I was a good girl. I was active. I was a perfect candidate for a university. So anyway, I grew up in this beautiful place, and I decided that somebody saw me in a high school play, and they invited me to be in a very respectable repertory company and do a production there. So I left my senior year to do that, even though my teachers agreed to let me do this, and then I would for my class outside of school, and I graduated with my class. But I started working professionally, and I chose to go to a specific theater school rather than a university, which had a lot of Jewish mothers going, "Oh my God." So it was unusual. And so my parents have always been supportive of me. They believed that I would be successful doing what I wanted to do, and they did nothing ever to interfere with my decisions and only supported it. So I was very lucky.
You mean your parents supported your decision to be actor, yes?
Correct, yes. Very much so, 100% behind me. So, as I said, my family was very loving. It was not without problems. No family is perfect, and there are always situations. My father was an alcoholic. He died a recovering alcoholic and a counselor, and an addictions counselor for the last 25 years of his life. So we did get to see him become sober, but he was, as challenging as it was, he was also an extraordinary father. So it was contrasting and challenging as alcoholism is in any family. And cut to in my 20s, my father and I would talk about the dynamic of him being an alcoholic and me, at that time a recovering alcoholic, and me, a child of an alcoholic. And we used it as a teaching tool around the country for a couple of years.
Ms. Grahn, who played the main role in your life?
I think we're most responsible for Nana. All different, all loving, all wonderful role models for me. And I had great teachers. I remember one teacher, specifically Mr. Smith, who let me cheat on my geometry test as long as I understood how to do what I was doing. He had the guy next to me help me. I really have so many good influences. I was lucky to be surrounded, my parents, my family, my friends, the culture around me. When you're around good people, um, other they collect other good people, and the women in my life. My mother was an exceptional woman, a very giving woman, and so my sisters were two more. So it's my mother and my sisters, and so I had this really, and my nana, strong women who really held down the fort in terms of finances and stability, groundedness. My dad, what I got from my dad was I was able to sort of connect my head into the sky and dream big. And from my mom, I got also being rooted into the ground. So I had the combination of my head in the clouds and my feet also rooted into the ground, which is, I thought, been very helpful to me. But I will say that I had exemplary women in my life.
Ms. Grahn, why you choose TV series? Because you are talented actors and you can choose, you could choose the big screen for the main roles in Hollywood.
Well, what happened was prior to me getting on Santa Barbara, I was working a lot in nighttime, primetime television. I was guest starring on, I'd say, about 20, 25 primetime shows like Magnum and Murder, She Wrote and top 10 shows. And so I was sort of getting known, and it probably would have been done well in prime time. But Santa Barbara, in any case, I was familiar with the genre. My intention wasn't to go on a daytime serial, but they called me, and the opportunity arose, and it was new, and so the show was new, and so I thought, well, I wonder what it would be like to have a steady paycheck for a year and not have to go auditioning and looking for job after job, which is how it works here most of the time. And so I did it, and it was, I think my contract actually was a year and a half, might have been a year and a half. And there was this one writer, Patrick Mulcahy, and the creators, Bridget and Jerry. These characters were taken from Shakespearean templates. Directors would come in without shots on their sheet going, what do you guys want to do? And there was this one writer, Patrick Mulcahy, that put such interesting, complex words in my mouth that I thought, I'm not going to do much better than this unless I get the part of Murphy Brown or something on nighttime. This was such a full-bodied, complex character that they wrote for me, and I got to experience so many different things. It made me every day a better actress. And so that part kind of reflected my life in a lot of ways. And so I got to experience becoming a woman through this part as I was doing it in real life, with it articulated for me, that Patrick was able to articulate it. There were also open minds. It was a very synchronistic.
You played a lot of lawyer detectives in your films. How about in real life? Have there similarity between your characters and Nancy Lee Grahn? So let's talk about your character, about the characters of Nancy Lee Grahn.
Playing a lawyer on General Hospital for 25 years. So I have played a lot of lawyers, which is interesting to me. It's interesting to me because I like studying scripts, memorizing scripts more than I would have liked memorizing torts that you have to as a lawyer, a real lawyer. But I'm an advocate by nature. I'm a seeker of justice by nature. I want things to be fair. And I don't know if I think I came into the world that way, but it was certainly something that my mother would say about me. I think when I was 10 years old, I said, I don't understand why the woman has to take the man's last name when they get married. Well, it's not fair. Why is his name more important? I've always been for the underdog. I've always spoken out for other people. My parents, my family did that as well. We were raised to use our voices, and particularly on behalf of other people. And so my sisters are like that as well. And for ourselves. So I think the fact that I've played an advocate for so long on television is interesting, right? So because I'm doing it through a process that appeals to me, where having gone to law school would not have appealed to me.
So I have a main question. So many actors in the United States then became political figures, held high position. Did you have such goal?
I think I'm too emotional to be in politics. I'm not really great at not speaking my truth. I'm not great at diplomacy in terms of saying things, shaping my words into a way that might be easier for you. To me, I just want to just get to the point and say it. I also cry easily, and I get really mad easily, and those are not good things for a politician. I think because my emotions are so easily accessible to me, I'm better off being an actress. But I am very vocal politically. I have a soapbox, as I call it, my Twitter, my social media, which is probably one of the most engaged social medias for daytime, anyone on daytime. And it's very important to me. And when on my social media, I speak for myself. I don't speak for my show. I'm not representing anyone other than myself, but I am incredibly concerned about the state of our union and the world, and what's going on in this country, and what has specifically happened in this country. I've never experienced this sort of chaos. Now, where you're from, in the region you're from, and other places in the world, we probably look like utter idiots, and deservedly so. Because other people in the world have been through it, have really been through it. And we have in our country too, World War II. These are, huge things that people have suffered. That the amount of immaturity in this country and absolute absurd behavior is just, it's anguishing to me. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I care about other people. I'm concerned because I'm a mother, and my daughter's 24 years old. She's got a lot of life to live, and I want her to be able to live it in a democracy.
Let's talk about your political and charitable activities. Could you please explain us?
There have been many things that I've been engaged with and attached to over the years. Obviously, my father has a foundation that we set up, which gives students scholarships when that have gotten through addiction. I care a lot about the Smile Train because my mother had a cleft palate, and so I care about that. My sister has Crohn's disease. I care about that. My character on General Hospital had lung cancer, so I got affiliated with the Lung Cancer Association, Bonnie Adario, Lung Cancer Association, brilliant. I care about that. So it seems I do these Zoom events, and I met a woman with ALS, so we raised some money for her. I care a lot about the organization RAIN. I admittingly, and I give, it shouldn't be charity, but because of Citizens United, we have to give money to our and support them. So what I will do, because I feel like I've been a little negligent in that, because I've been so busy being an advocate for democracy and trying to get people to pay attention or be a voice for other people on my social, or send information from my social, be a source of encouraging others to pay attention and vote, that I'm not as focused on these charities and as I would like to be. And as soon as I can divert my attention from trying to save the world, I will focus in. I would like very much to, start a foundation of some sort and orchestrate something on a bigger scale that could help a lot of people.
Are there any followers in your family? I mean, maybe your children working in art, in television, and another kind of media?
My daughter, Kate, turns out is enormously talented. She is a singer-songwriter, and she can sing and she can perform. And she is 1,000 times more talented than I am. She just graduated recently from the Thornton School of Music at USC, which is the #1 pop music school in the world. And I ended up being engaged to one of her teachers, which is scandalous. I finally met somebody that is the right partner for me. And he was one of the people that he's a very well-known jazz guitarist named Richard Smith, who has a number. I think he's #2 on the jazz charts right now. He has a single. He has a single out, another one coming out in a couple months. And so Kate went to that school, graduated, and she's had some of her songs synced into primetime shows, and she is looking to be discovered and appreciated, and she is super good.
Ms. Grahn, what worries in your life? I think it's very important.
What I worry about, obviously, is the state of this country, America. I worry about the world. I worry about the climate, specifically, because that affects all of us. I want everyone to just behave each other, and I want Ukraine to be safe in all the areas around it. I worry that Putin is a big problem. I remember when I was working, I was a surrogate for President Clinton and Al Gore, Obama, and Senator Kerry.
You know, our program will broadcast in Real TV Azerbaijan. It is an international channel of Azerbaijan. And exactly, we need your wishes to our people.
Oh, I had been when I was invited to Russia and invited to areas in the region, and I couldn't go because I was working on a movie at the time. And Lane has taken so much advantage of that, and I really missed out on that because I got close enough, but I love the people, and I so much appreciate them loving Santa Barbara and being so enthusiastic about it. And I feel connected to them because when you're an actor and all of the people that are watching you can be as far away as you are, but I still feel connected to you and I care about you. I care about you. I know I've read a little bit about your country when you called. I wanted to know more about it, and it seems like a beautiful place with beautiful people trying to do the right thing. And I just sending lots of love and wishing you all peace and good health.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grahn. Thank you for accepting our invitation to give interview to Real TV Azerbaijan, and it's very honorable for me, exactly. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was such a pleasure, and much love to everyone in your beautiful country.
Beləliklə Real TV-də Amerikalı aktrisa, xeyriyyətçi, siyasətçi Nancy Lee Grahn'in profili idi. Salamat qalın.